have to fear him.
In war, there is no substitute for victory.
Let us never negotiate out of fear.
We stand undivided, forever united, fighting hand in hand for the liberty we've earned, for glory and honor, for our sons and daughters, ever mindful of the lessons we've learned. Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome to the intersection of faith and politics. This is WallBuilders Live with David Barton and Rick Green. Thanks for joining us today. You can visit us online at wallbuilders.com and also at wallbuilderslive.com. That intersection of faith and politics, David, for some people that just doesn't mix. They think it's oil and water. If you bring God into the equation of government and politics, they think somehow that's violating a principle of liberty. In fact, it's an important principle of liberty. Don't we need to acknowledge God, and if we're going to be able to keep the freedom that he's the source of?
Well, interestingly enough, when the Founding Fathers separated from Great Britain, in the Declaration of Independence, they start out with 155 words that tell the new philosophy of American government. Those 155 words contain 6 principles of government. Then when they did the Constitution some 11 years later, every clause in the Constitution goes back to one of those 6 principles. So what they did in the Declaration was lay out the foundation of American government. Here's what we believe. We're telling the entire world this. And right up front, they talk about the Creator, that we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, and they go through all this stuff from the Creator. And today, what the Supreme Court would say is, well, there's people in America who don't believe in a Creator, so we need to take a neutral position on this. We can neither prefer religion nor non-religion. We have to be completely neutral. Founding Fathers would have said, you're crazy. Did you not read the documents? We said in the documents there is a Creator, and we said, first line of the Declaration, the announcing title of the Declaration, this is the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. So what they did was they didn't say, well, George Washington wrote Martha and talked about God. No, they said this is unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. We're telling the whole world there's a Creator. And that's the first step to have limited government, because if you don't start with the recognition of God, if you don't do that, then, and by the way, what you do by doing that is you're telling government, there's something higher than you, and it's God. And if you don't have that acknowledgement, then you'll become like France, where that secular governments think they are God. They will regulate everything that goes on. They're in charge of all rights. There are no natural human rights. They're only what the government gives you. By saying, guys, there's a Creator, and he's higher than government, we then said in the Declaration, by the way, this Creator gives a certain set of rights that came before government ever existed. There's 24 inalienable rights. The Founding Fathers called them natural rights, and they listed out, and John Adams and others explained that these are the rights you find in Genesis 1 through 8. These are the rights that occur before the first government ever appeared, and the first government appears in Genesis 9:6. So the Founding Fathers said, look, there's a God, and this God has given us about 24 rights that came before government ever existed. And the third thing they say in the Declaration is the primary purpose of government is to secure these rights. You look at these 24 rights that come from God. Government's number one purpose is to make sure that we can exercise these 24 rights. And what happens is, if you have a secular government that won't acknowledge God, then no rights are off limit to that government. It will tell you whether or not you can or can't keep and bear arms. It will tell you whether or not you can or can't acknowledge God according to the dictates of conscience. It will tell you whether or not you can have private property, or whether it wants to take it from you and give it to someone else. See, if you become a secular thinking government, you lose the concept of what makes America great. So there's a quote that I think is so significant from George Washington. Washington, who for years was trying to get the Constitution in place. He went through the Annapolis Convention, the Mount Vernon Convention, etc. Finally resulted in the Constitutional Convention in 1787. He's trying to get a Constitution in place. He gets it in place. He becomes the unanimous choice to head the government under that Constitution. And the first major task they have is to add the Bill of Rights. And on the day that they completed the Bill of Rights, which is the capstone of the Constitution, we've now made the Constitution, and we've satisfied both the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. We have done this. On that day, Washington says, now I'm going to declare a national day of Thanksgiving. We just finished the Bill of Rights. We just completed the Constitution. It was done on the floor of Congress according to 2 Chronicles 5-7.
But wait. Wasn't there some sort of an injunction after Freedom from Religion Foundation and ACLU sued? Surely that's the part of the story you're leaving out.
The ACLU immediately went to court, and John Jay, the original justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, put there by George Washington, an author of the Federalist Papers, who obviously knows what is and isn't constitutional, he looks at them and tells them, take a hike.
Yeah, right. That's right.
And you know, that was an easy thing, because back then, and see what Washington said. Washington explained in the first line why he issued a national religious proclamation calling on the nation to do this. And this is his line. The first line of the proclamation, he said, "It is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly to implore His protection and favor." He did not say that's the duty of citizens. He said that's the duty of nations. That's collective political bodies. That's the way America was founded. That's the first point we put forth in the Declaration. Our philosophy of government is that there is a God, and we acknowledge God. Only by doing that can we hold ourselves to the 15 enumerated powers in the Constitution. Only by knowing that there's a God who gives certain rights, and jurisdiction of government is to stay below those rights. So here's Washington explaining that. So what our guest today, Jacquie Sullivan, has been doing has been getting cities and counties, etc., to adopt as their city or county motto, "In God We Trust." Now, courts have already upheld this. So you're adopting something that the courts have already upheld, and then after you adopt this, you get this displayed in your council chambers or your county chambers or whatever, and therefore every time your elected officials sit down, you're looking up and saying, "In God we trust." Not in Washington, not in Sacramento or Austin or Oklahoma City, not in any other city, not in Richmond. "In God we trust," and that reminds every one of those officials that there is something higher than them. And that's the key to limited government. So Jacquie Sullivan, what she does with "In God We Trust" is phenomenal stuff, and it is spreading across the nation at a very rapid rate, and that's good news. And it's going to be a great action item for our listeners today, because after you hear this interview, you're going to learn what you can do in your community to further what Washington did back when he was president and what he set us on a course to be able to do in acknowledging God in our government. Stay with us. Jacquie Sullivan, our guest, when we return here on WallBuilders Live. Have you ever wanted to learn more about the United States Constitution but just felt like, man, the classes are boring, or it's just that old language from 200 years ago, or I don't know where to start? People want to know, but it gets frustrating because you don't know where to look for truth about the Constitution either. Well, we've got a special program for you available now called Constitution Alive with David Barton and Rick Green, and it's actually a teaching done on the Constitution at Independence Hall, in the very room where the Constitution was framed. We take you both to Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty in Independence Hall, and to the WallBuilders Library, where David Barton brings the history to life to teach the original intent of our founding fathers. We call it the Quick Start Guide to the Constitution because in just a few hours through these videos, you will learn the Citizen's Guide to America's Constitution. You'll learn what you need to do to help save our constitutional republic. It's fun, it's entertaining, and it's going to inspire you to do your part to preserve freedom for future generations. It's called Constitution Alive with David Barton and Rick Green. You can find out more information on our website now at wallbuilders.com.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back to WallBuilders Live. Thanks for staying with us. Our guest today, our good friend from California, Jacquie Sullivan from In God We Trust America. Jacquie, always good to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled to be on your program again, Rick. Thank you.
It's a great time of year to be talking about this. Everybody's hopefully talking a little bit about the founding of the country and what made our nation great. One of those things, obviously, our faith in God and our trust in God. And you've done a phenomenal job of helping to remind us of that in our places of government. Tell us again about In God We Trust America, how you got started, what the purpose is, and then let's talk a little bit about a surprise guest you got coming to California for your big event here in a few days.
Oh, yes, Rick, there's a lot to talk about. Well, actually, early 2001, I'm lucky to have my office in my home, listening to the local Christian radio station, and heard on the news that there was a small group back east protesting that our national motto, "In God We Trust," was on one of the public buildings. So I was offended that they were offended, and I know, being an elected official, a long-time city council person myself in Bakersfield, California, I know how city government works. It takes one more vote yes than no for something to happen. And so I thought, well, fine. They're working to take down our motto. I am going to work to put up our motto. Got it on the agenda. And early 2002, our council, a strong majority, voted yes to display "In God We Trust" in our chamber at City Hall. It was in the newspaper. Other cities around Bakersfield started following our lead. In 2004, we incorporated with nonprofit status "In God We Trust-America.org" with the intention to spread this across the country. And Rick, it is just very encouraging, exciting and encouraging, the positive support we have gotten. Let me first say we have 107 cities and counties in the great state of California, 107 in California, and to date we have 373 across America.
That's incredible.
Proudly and prominently displaying our national motto.
And that's more than 20 states that have participated now. With some of those having quite a few. Arkansas has got something like 77, if I'm reading your website right. Missouri, 69. I'm embarrassed to say my home state of Texas is in fourth place with 30. So we got to get busy here. But California, 107 cities and counties in California. People say there's no hope for California. Let me tell you, it's right there. When you get even that local government acknowledging God and recognizing God as the source of our strength, we can turn this thing around. You got to be, I mean, when you wake up now 10, 12 years later and look at how much has been accomplished and the number of cities and counties that have jumped on board with this, you got to be excited.
It's very exciting, Rick, and it's very heartwarming and very encouraging. You know, it several things. It shows how important it is who we elect to office. We need conservatives, and me personally, when there is a candidate coming on the horizon, I listen. I try to find out if they have a faith in God, and if they do not, I would never support a potential candidate unless they believed in the Constitution, understood the Constitution, and the values our country was founded upon, a strong faith in God. So that's very important.
It is, no doubt about it. Now, how do you get people? I know we have a lot of listeners around the country that when they hear you on the program, they say, I want to do that. I want to do that in my community, whether they're on the city council or they're just a citizen that says, hey, I care about my community. I would love to see that displayed in our government meetings. If they want to get started, if they want to do what you've done in these other 370 cities around the country, how do they do that?
Well, Rick, our biggest challenge is getting the word out. So that's why I'm so delighted to be on your program this morning. But my email address is my name, Jacquie Sullivan, and my first name is spelled Jacquie at ingodwetrust-america.org. And probably more simple, our website has all of my contact information, www.ingodwetrust-america.org. And they can call me, but they need to, if they don't already have our national motto displayed in their chamber, in their city or county building, then they can contact me. I can send them our letter of invitation, encouraging their elected officials, or they can just go. Every meeting starts with public comments, and just go and fill out a card and get up and just say that this important effort is going on across America, and they don't see our national motto displayed in their chamber, and they want to encourage their elected officials to put this issue on their agenda and vote to display "In God We Trust."
And that's when you say in their chamber, so we're talking city councils, county commissioner courts, even local school boards. I mean, any local government body would be a great place to go get this done.
Oh, absolutely, Rick. It's very important to get our schools involved, our school children. Many of our kids don't even know that In God We Trust is our national motto. The American Family Association has an In God We Trust poster. You can Google, and poster is kind of the key word, but that was designed to display in our schools. So, and something else that seems unimportant, but it is very important, many school boards have changed from celebrating Christmas and Easter to winter and spring. Here in our school district, which is one of the largest in the country, I encourage the trustees to put Christmas and Easter back on the calendar, and so we don't have 2 weeks off to celebrate winter. We are clearly celebrating Christmas vacation and Easter vacation. So, Rick, we just have it's our local officials that make decisions, and we need to just encourage them to get back to where we started. It just not that many years ago, and just work toward getting God back in our country.
And this is a great example of how you can make a difference. You can get things done if you're just willing to take a little bit of time, put a little bit of effort into it. We're going to have links today at our website, wallbuilderslive.com, so that you can get a hold of Jacquie and you can get that packet on how to make this happen in your community. It's step by step. You can do this. You can accomplish this. And we want to double that number that Jacquie's got right now, 370-something cities. We'd love to see that doubled this year. Quick break. We'll be right back. Jacquie's got an exciting announcement about who's coming to California for her special dinner on July 31st. Stay with us right here on WallBuilders Live.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Although education has remained an emphasis in America for nearly 200 years, what has changed the most over that period of time is the philosophy of education. For example, while religion finds no place of refuge in our schools today, such was not the case at the time of our founding fathers. In fact, when the Delaware Indian chiefs brought their youth to be trained in America's schools, on June the 12th, 1779, George Washington told them, "You do well to wish to learn our arts and our way of life, and above all, the religion of Jesus Christ. These will make you a greater and happier people than you are. Congress will do everything they can to assist you in this wise intention." According to George Washington, what students learned above all in American education at the time of the Founding Fathers was the religion of Jesus Christ.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Jacquie Sullivan's with us from In God We Trust America, talking about the explosive growth of cities and counties and local government bodies getting In God We Trust, our national motto, displayed where they meet. So important to remind them every time they're meeting, and the citizens that come in to testify and observe what's happening, that God is the source of our strength. Jacquie, just thrilled to see the growth. The website looks great, by the way. If folks will go to that website, they can get plugged into exactly what you're doing. They can see the growth, and they can help make it happen in their community. And also on the website, you've got an announcement, a special annual event you have coming up on July 31st, and you've managed to get a pretty cool guy coming to speak at your dinner.
Well, you said it right. We have managed to do that after 3 years of inviting and encouraging David Barton to come to our event as our special guest speaker. He is coming to Bakersfield this year for our event.
And that's not an easy thing to do, Jacquie. You know, he's usually booked a couple of years out at least, and a high demand, no doubt about it. And it's exciting to see him coming and being a part of your dinner, because I think it's a lot of what David's done over the last 25 years that has instigated this interest in the founding principles. So to have him come now and talk about what your folks have done and how important it is to have those acknowledgments of God, that's going to be a really cool evening.
Oh, it's going to be. We're so thrilled, and we are honored. And we know, Rick, that it's because he believes in the mission statement for In God We Trust America, encouraging elected officials to display In God We Trust. It's completely legal, which is so amazing. We weren't sure to begin with just how legal it would be, but if we've had no legal challenges, certainly here in California, it is legal. There's nothing to challenge. But yes, we are thrilled to have David and his wife coming, and we're going to have a wonderful event, and we are very honored and just,
well, in fact,
really looking forward.
That dinner is a good opportunity. If, this happens a lot. We have listeners around the country that say, well, I'd love to support what's happening. I don't live close to Bakersfield. I can't come to the dinner. But they could go to the website and sponsor the dinner. They could be part of helping that event take place, because that's what allows you to promote and to get these packets to city councils and local governments around the country. So even if you couldn't attend the dinner, if you're not close enough to attend, you could still sponsor and be a part of it, right?
Well, that's wonderful, Rick. That's very true. And actually, we have just started in the country. There is a National League of Counties where the county elected officials go once a year. And then there is also a National League of Cities for those city elected officials. And we have just started attending both of these as an exhibitor. So, boy, it's just a couple of days, and we work hard, and our whole mission is just to talk to as many elected officials as possible. So we have really expanded our efforts, and we are determined to make a huge amount of progress this next year. And, of course, David is coming to our annual event. And, yes, we always need support, people contacting us to just go to their own, get involved in their own city and county government. And with confidence, they can say that, of course, David teaches how America started out as a Christian nation. And that's what David Barton is all about. And he is the expert and the authority on this subject. So we're thrilled to have him in Bakersfield. But patriots across the country need to get involved in their city and county government and encourage their elected officials to do the right thing.
And you've got a 1-2 punch coming that night on July 31st. Our good friend Brad Dacus also going to be there from Pacific Justice Institute.
Well, one reason he's so thrilled about coming is because David Barton is going to be there.
Oh, Brad does a great job, man. They win a lot of important cases, and we love having Brad on the program as well. So you're going to have a full night there with Barton and Dacus. That's going to be a good 1-2 punch.
Oh, it's wonderful. Well, Brad, of course, is the founder of Pacific Justice Institute, and they defend religious liberty and freedom issues, Rick. So, yes, it's going to be an amazing night. And so anyway, we're thrilled. We're working hard to have it a huge success, which it will be.
Well, the website to go find out more, in godwetrust-america.org. Is it .org and .com? Does it go to both?
Well, no, I think it's .org.
Just .org,
Definitely
okay.
.org.
Yes. .org. We'll make sure that link is easy to get to today at wallbuilderslive.com. Jackie, keep up the great work. We really do want to see that number double. It's incredible that you're already to 373, but, man, we want to just keep growing that. Communities across the country. Doesn't matter how big or small your community is that you live in, you can make this happen. Get a hold of Jacquie Sullivan and help spread it into your state and make sure your local community is working on it. Jackie, keep up the great work. Super proud of you.
Oh, thank you. It's exciting. I'm blessed to be part of this, Rick. So, yes, we're making exciting progress.
Well, y'all have a great event on the 31st, and let's get you back again soon. God bless.
All right. Thank you, Rick. Take care.
You bet. That's Jacquie Sullivan. Back in a moment with David Barton.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Today, there are numerous documented accounts of individual students being disciplined simply for bringing a Bible to school. Fisher Ames would have been appalled at this open hostility toward the Bible. Fisher Ames was the founding father who authored the House of Representatives language for the First Amendment. In his day, he vehemently objected to any attempt to minimize the Bible at schools. In fact, he declared, "Why should not the Bible regain the place it once held as a school book?
Its morals are pure. Its examples captivating and noble. The reverence for the sacred book that is thus early impressed lasts long, and probably, if not impressed in infancy, never takes firm hold of the mind. Founding Father Fisher Ames, the man most responsible for the wording of the First Amendment, believed that the most important school book was the Bible.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back to WallBuilders Live. Thanks for staying with us. Be sure to visit that website for Jacquie Sullivan, In God We Trust America. It's a great way for you to get involved and make something happen in your community that will bring back those values and made the country great. David, this thing's been growing. You know, we've been having her on once a year or so for several years, and it just continues to grow.
And it's going to continue to grow. We have 373 entities, as you now said. And by the way, folks can go to wallbuilders.com, and you'll see there a national campaign. We're part of that campaign. And we have what's called an In God We Trust, and it's called a cling decal, which is really pretty cool. It's something you can put on your car, peel it off. You can take it inside, put it in front of your window at your house. You can peel it off, take it inside. If you're staying at a hotel, put it in the window of the hotel. But we're wanting to get 1 million of those In God We Trust cling decals out there, where that every time you turn around, that's what you see. I love driving through Indiana now because they have license plates that say In God We Trust on them, and that's probably, 70% of the license plates I see in Indiana. But people can now do this. Go to wallbuilders.com and get that In God We Trust cling decal and use that and put it on your vehicles, put it where you go, carry it with you. It makes a difference.
Check it out at wallbuilders.com today. You've been listening to WallBuilders Live.
We stand under